Welcome to Kicks Minivans, the podcast for dads who love sneakers. I'm your host, KG, and this is the season 1 finale. This is the last episode of Kicks Minivans before we break for the summer. Not the last episode ever, man. Y'all tripping. Last episode before we break for the summer. We will be back in September with more full-length episodes along the way, and all summer long we'll be dropping 8-minute Mondays. So make sure you tune in for those. And I just want to give a special thank you to everyone. This was a brainchild a year ago. And so to see something come into existence, take form, take shape, to see that vision start to come alive a little bit has truly been exciting and a blessing. And man, this is the 19th full-length episode. Plus we got, I think, 10 8-minute Monday episodes out at this point. And so, that's 29 episodes in total. Like, that's crazy to me. That's absolutely crazy. So thank you to every single person that's listened. Thank you to every single guest that we've had on the episode and everyone that's played a part in this in some way, whether you listen, you share it with somebody, you share a link on social media, man, whatever it is, we appreciate it. Thank you for subscribing. Thank you for following along and listening. Man, that's a blessing. That's a blessing. And so this podcast has been a blessing to me personally. Being on the end of it, I've learned so much from so many people in my life. And so to be on the other side of that and to be able to encourage husbands and dads out there, man, that's been a blessing for me. And so thank you for coming along for the ride. And hey, as we head into the summer months, I want to ask y'all 2 favors. Number 1, if this podcast has been a blessing to you in any way, man, shoot me a text, shoot me a message at Kicks Minivans on Instagram. I would love to hear that. How has it impacted you? How has it impacted your family life, your health, your marriage, your parenting? And then second, if there's any specific topics you would love for us to dive into in season 2, like I said, we're going to be back in September. We want to make it even better than season 1. And so if there's any specific topics you want to hear us dive into or any specific guests that you want to hear us have on the show, man, shoot those to us. We would love your input on that as we look to make Kicks and Minivans even better than ever. For the last episode for the season 1 finale, we got a very special guest. My bride, my wife, Becky. She's back for another draft, but she's back for the full episode. I convinced her to sit down and have a full conversation with me. And so we're just chopping it up. I had some questions for her. She had some questions for me. And so, we get to talk all the time, but people don't hear it that often. And so I'm excited to be able to share this episode with y'all. I hope you guys enjoy it. We enjoyed having the conversation. And I hope it blesses you. But hey, until next fall, take care of yourself, take care of your family. Thanks for joining Kicks and Minivans. All right, this time we are doing a draft of favorite kids' drinks. This is going to be a good one. All right, you ready?
Yep.
Rock, paper, scissors, shoot. I told you. I offered you the first pick. You didn't want it. So now I'm going to take the number 1 pick.
All right.
Give me chocolate milk. Give me chocolate milk, number 1 overall. I'll take that.
That's good. How about, back to childhood, Kool-Aid bursts, where you're going to twist the cap off.
That is iconic.
Yeah.
That's iconic. I will match that with my number 2 pick. I'm going to take the hugs.
I didn't like those.
That's fine. You didn't play Little League Baseball.
I did.
It was like a staple, like post Little League Baseball game, you got like a hot dog and a hug.
Yeah.
That was childhood right there. That was my entire childhood, was hot dogs and hugs after baseball games growing up. That's it. That's my number 2 pick.
You can have it. That's good. All right, ready? A cherry icy.
The very specific.
Yeah?
The cherry flavor specific?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Did you like the blue better?
I wasn't a huge icy fan. No.
But you love ice cream and water ice.
Yeah, but that's not either one of those things.
But it's in the
So for my number 3,
okay.
Give me a milkshake.
Oh.
I'm a counter your icy with a milkshake. It's a superior frozen beverage.
All right, I'll hit you back with an orange cream soda.
That is delicious. That was one of my favorites growing up. My dad used to get like the Stewart's, I think was the brand, like the orange cream.
Mm-hmm. God,
those were special.
Cracker Barrel.
That's the Indiana in you. That's the Indiana in you right there.
That was
all right. I got to get serious.
Okay.
Number 4, pink lemonade.
Yeah.
That's like specifically a kid's drink. Like,
Yeah.
I don't think in my adult life I've seen pink lemonade. Like, I don't even think I've seen it. Like, I haven't even seen a kid drink it. I think it's just a thing that exists for kids. Like, kids are the only ones that know it exists.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like it's...
As an adult, I'm like, no strawberry lemonade. But as a kid, you're right. It's pink lemonade.
Right.
Regular
but pink lemonade
is like...
not... Pink lemonade is not strawberry lemonade. It's not the same. It's just lemonade that's pink. But it's like a kid thing. Like, I think it's a myth for adults. I've never seen it as an adult. Yeah. But I loved it as a kid.
Just like the little country time packets that you can make your own.
Right, exactly. Grew up on those.
That's a good one. All right. I have a root beer float.
That's a good one. That's a quality. You're thinking outside the box on some of these. All right. My number 5, my final pick. You might think this is too close to my number 1 pick, but it's very different. But I think they're a powerful combo. Give me the Yoo-Hoo.
I've never had a Yoo-Hoo. So I can't vouch for that. Never. I think it was never refrigerated, right?
I don't think so. It's like chocolate milk that's not refrigerated. But it's like a childhood staple, though.
No, not me. Sorry.
Okay.
I had Capri Sun.
I almost took that.
Those were cool in elementary. They're still cool now.
They're still cool now, I think. I think they just haven't gone out of style. Like, that was like the epitome of like a school snack or lunch was a Capri Sun and a Dunkaroo. Like, if you had that combo right there, like, you were elite.
You made it.
You were elite status.
Yeah.
Like, your family was top tier if you had Capri Suns and Dunkaroos. There was a kid on our block in my first house, always had Capri Suns and Dunkaroos at his house. We always wanted to go there for snacks because my parents were like, here's some water from a hose. That was what we had. And think about how to start it, because like you're always
take it away.
Like usually it's like cutting to a guest, and it's like my wife
here in the flesh.
So, welcome on the show.
Thank you for having me.
I guess that's the intro. So, anyways, yeah, we're in the midst of potty training our 3-year-old, and so I asked you to get on night 1 after day 1 of potty training. It's going well so far. I don't want to I don't want to jinx it.
Yeah.
For day 2, but yeah.
Apparently, the experts say that day 2 is harder. So,
sweet.
I would say think about us, but by the time you watch this, it'll be over.
Hopefully.
Should be over.
Hopefully we are confident, and our 3-year-old is confident by the time this releases and you're watching it. But yeah. Anyways, it's probably not potty training, but what is your favorite part of being a mom?
I didn't know you were going to ask me questions. Oh, you sent me them. I never read them. I'm sorry. I was potty training my child. Sorry.
This will go great. You didn't know I was going to ask you questions. Oh, you sent me?
I'm sorry.
That's okay. What's your favorite? This will be awesome then. What's your favorite part of being a mom?
I love the snuggles. I love the snuggles. I love, I don't know, just being, I was putting Jace to bed tonight, and I just loved that I was his comfort, you know, yeah. Just like somebody like you are their world, and like they depend on you, which is so exhausting and overwhelming, but it's like really cool.
It is. When you know that like you're their safe place.
Yeah.
And that they can be comfortable with you, and even though that means you might see the worst of them, you know, it's like, that's a really special thing. Mm-hmm. You don't get as many snuggles.
No.
As we used to.
No. That's why I just scoop Corey.
Yeah. You gotta soak them in when they let you, though. Mm-hmm. You gotta soak in all the times you can.
I can kiss Corey's cheek as many times as I can get in.
He can't stop you right
He won't
now.
stop you. He doesn't even care.
No, he doesn't.
Jace will stop you.
Jace didn't care. He was like, what, like 2.5 or so when he started caring?
Probably.
That's when he started saying, like, stop it, no more.
Jace will even do a double hands up, like, no, 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 no.
Be like, no kisses, no kisses. None of that. Yeah. Corey's he's one, so he's
Corey will pull your face in for a kiss.
He does that to you. He doesn't do that to me. He does that to you. That's like y'all's thing.
It's cute.
Like do your little hand to the head thing. Yeah.
He likes his forehead kisses.
All right.
What's your favorite part of being a dad?
Ooh.
Dad.
I think it's watching them learn new things.
Yeah.
You know, like I feel like they're both at such an age of discovery, obviously different phases of it. But Corey, he's picked up like I feel like a dozen new words or phrases this week.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's like he's starting to say thank you on his own. Like he's starting to say like all these different things. He started saying cheese. The kids love cheese, so he started saying cheese on his own. It's like parenting went right there. You know, but it's like you hand him something, he says thank you now, and so it's like watching them learn new things. And then Jace is just constantly, like he's constantly blowing our mind. I need to write things down because I forget all the like little things that he does. But he's just constantly in an age of discovery. He's just learning new things, and then he's showing off what he. And I feel like he's the kind of kid that doesn't mimic you right away. Mm-hmm. Like he waits until he knows he's using it appropriately.
Yeah.
For better or worse, and then he does it, right? And so, you know, it's like it might be something that like you said 3 months ago, and then he picked up on it. He didn't share it. But then he repeats it all of a sudden. Mm-hmm. And
he'll use it in context.
Yeah, he uses the context right, but it's like he's a kid that he doesn't just trial and error stuff. Like he waits until he knows he's using it right. Mm-hmm. And then when he does use it, it's the first time he uses it right and it like blows our mind. But yeah, I think just watching them learn and grow and develop, like just being able to see the changes on a day-to-day basis is that's one of my favorite parts.
You've said since before we had kids that you're always going to be excited to be the first to introduce them to like a Reese's cup or...
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, I love... Jace is so hesitant to try new things though that like, you know, when we can get him to try something, it's really exciting. What was it he tried the other day? I can't remember.
Cheese.
The cheese crackers.
Cheese and crackers.
Cheese and crackers. It's like this big discovery. Like he put cheese on a cracker, a cheese slice on a cracker, and it like blew his mind and he loved it. It's like, you know, if you try new things, you might just like it. Like there's a whole world of discovery. Like just please try a chicken nugget. I promise. Every other 3-year-old on the planet likes them. Yep. And you won't even try them. Like, come on.
We went to Rita's for water ice and custard and he like tried it, but I think he was set out to not like it.
He would try it if you mixed your water ice and custard together. If you like blended it, he would try it. He wouldn't try either one separately though.
But he'll kind of hover and watch you, and then you'll be like, "Do you want to try it?" And he'll be like, "No."
Right. He'll hover. He'll act like he wants to try, and so hopefully over time he will. Mm-hmm. But yeah, it's getting him to try new things is a little bit of a struggle because he knows what he likes. Mm-hmm. Except he gets bored of what he likes because it's like 3 things. Mm-hmm. So he eats the same 3 things every day. But anyway, all right. So mom guilt. So that's
everything all the time.
That's a thing, right? Can you like? I feel like dad guilt can kind of be a thing, but I don't feel like it's as heavy as mom guilt is. Like, how much power does it have over moms? Because I feel like this is something like we as dads like need to work on understanding a little bit more. And so like what's something you have mom guilt about, or like what's like talk to us about like a little bit of the power it has.
It's like, well, I think one of the biggest things would be like self-care.
Mm.
Like, I have a gift certificate to go get a massage that I've had since Black Friday. And have I used it? No.
And it's
That's an
June 17th.
that's an hour minimum.
And the
Just
massage
like
place is what, like 3 minutes away?
it's like less than 10.
Right. So you don't have an hour drive. You're not taking an
Right.
extra hour to drive there and back.
Right. And so I think honestly, the first half of it was I felt guilty for leaving because, especially for our situation, you stay home with the boys all the time.
Yeah.
So every time I leave for anything, whether it's to run to the store, I guess that anytime I leave outside of work, I feel guilty because I'm putting more on you. I'm already missing out on a minimum of 40 hours a week with our kids.
Yeah.
And so I feel guilty for adding on more responsibility and then for missing out on time on top of what I'm already missing out on. I'm missing out on a full-time job of time with them.
Yeah.
So the first half was I felt guilty for leaving. The second half is I just have so much fun when I'm home that I don't want to go anywhere else, you know? So it's like now I don't necessarily feel guilty for going. I just don't. I'd rather spend time with the boys instead of go.
Yeah.
So, like if you were doing something.
But that's a shift, though.
That is a shift.
That it's...
Yeah.
No, it's like you're home because you want to be, like not home because you feel like you have to be. And you're like, oh, I wish I was out getting this
Right.
massage or whatever it might be. Like, you want that because you talk about it all the time. But...
Yeah. It could be anything, though. Like, I could feel guilty for how I don't try harder to get Jace to eat better or literally anything.
So
I feel guilty when I don't spend the quality of time with them that I think I need to.
Mm-hmm.
And then I feel guilty that I get so obsessive of the time that I have with them that I don't want you to feel left out. Like, that I do talk about getting time with them more because in my brain, like, we're good.
Mm-hmm.
But I need to verbalize that more and intentionally tell you that I want to spend time with you and enjoy. Like, I think
But
you
we
need
get
to
our
hear
time
it.
separate together when the kids are in bed.
We do.
Like, we get that. We know that that's our time.
We
Like,
do, but I feel bad too because I verbalize it about the boys so much more that I look forward to it with you, but then I'm like, I never tell him. So, like,
I feel like you do.
well, I don't know. Maybe that's just me feeling like I don't, but
Maybe I just say it too much.
no.
I'm like, love spending our time. Because we've had such good nights. Like, we're watching through The Office. You've never watched through The Office entirely before. And so it's like we've been doing that a lot of nights. Or,
Yeah.
just catching up, talking about whatever. And making creamies, Ninja Creamies for the first time. If y'all haven't gotten a Ninja Creamy yet, like, amazing ice cream. I'm obsessed. I'm an ice cream fanatic, though. But it's like, we've been enjoying, like, making different, ice cream creations and stuff. And so, like, we've had that quality of time, and we know that we're going to get that quality of time together.
Mm-hmm.
And so because you're not the only mom that gets the mom guilt thing. What can dads and husbands do to help alleviate some of that? Because I think, like, the self-care thing is important. And I always feel the need for it because I'm the one that's home with the kids all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Where it's like, you feel guilty for leaving the house. And I'm like, please let me go.
Right.
I'm like, please let me get out of here and do something. Right? It's like, what was that TikTok where it's like, when you want to go to the store, run an errand to the store to get alone time, and your spouse is like, hey, why don't we make it a family trip? You're like, after zero consideration, no. Like, hard pass. Like, I'm trying to do me.
Yeah.
Right? But, like, that's where I'm at because I'm with them 100 hours a week. Right? But what can dads, husbands do to help alleviate some of that mom guilt? Because, like, the self-care thing is important because, we talk on this podcast about guys getting to their healthiest place, but, like, ladies need to get there too. Because you are your best for your kids when you do take care of yourself.
I think you're really good at giving me permission to do things, and you are always trying to border the line of, like, supporting versus me interpreting your support as, like, go work out. But Like, I think women get jealous of men because there's like an on-off switch. And we don't have that. Or most of us don't.
Yeah.
I believe it doesn't exist, but I could be wrong. Men can leave and then be like, yeah, and then enjoy their time and then come home. And then women are like thinking about it and feeling guilt. At least I am. And people, the other moms that I talk to, it's like you still carry it even when you go out the door. So I don't think that there's anything that I can't think of anything that there's anything that you can do to change that. It's such an internal thing. So I guess just like, understanding where it's coming from and not, I don't know.
Yeah.
Being harsh or getting upset.
That's good to have understanding though, because like I think in terms of like, all right, you know, if I go to B-Dubs to watch a game with the guys or something, I don't sit there like thinking about like, oh no, she's alone with the kids, she's doing bad, she's doing bad, she's doing da 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 da. I'm like, she's home, she's got it. Like, you know, like that's my thought, and then it's like I'm there, I'm present, I'm enjoying the game, I'm enjoying hanging out with the guys. And I think most guys can do that. You know, there might be times where it's like I leave and there's like they're going ballistic and you're like barely hanging on. Like I'm gonna have guilt. I'm gonna have dad guilt being out then. But I think like that's helpful even for us to understand like, hey, we might need to verbalize a little more before mom leaves the house. We might need to verbalize a little more like, we're good here.
Yeah.
I got it. I can do this. I'm a parent too. Like for guys, like we might need to verbalize to our wives a little bit more when they're leaving, like reassure them that like we've got it. Like we're good here. I've got it under control. I'm a parent too. Like I can do this thing. We can manage for a couple hours. When you go get a massage, you go to the gym, you go do shopping therapy, like whatever you need to do.
You heard it.
Like we might need to, because we might not need that verbalization. We might need you to say once, like, oh yeah, you should go. I got it. Like, and for me, like, that's good. Like, you got it. We might need to verbalize 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 times. Like, hey, really, we're good here. Send a couple pictures while you're out.
Right.
Be like, hey, baby's sleeping. Me and toddler are reading books now. Like,
right. That does
like,
help.
Right. Like, I don't necessarily need that when I'm out. I'm like, oh, cool. Like, one's down, one to go. She's enjoying. Like, it's a nice little update, but like, I don't need that. And so that's a nice perspective shift to kind of say like, hey, this can help alleviate a little bit of that mom guilt. Maybe not all the way, but like, hey, we might need to give more reassurance to them than we need for ourselves, which is just another difference between men and women, that we know that men and women are created differently. So what, on that note, what is a part of being a mom or a wife that you feel like most guys probably don't understand?
For me.
Oh boy. I might not have wanted to ask this question.
For me, okay, being fresh like into motherhood, just the mental roller coaster of it all. I think we've had lots of conversations where to you, how I'm behaving, like just with postpartum, like I felt like I couldn't even keep my head above water. And then that, my actions were making you feel like I was mad at you. And for like, it wasn't. I just felt like I couldn't even process what was going on in my own brain. I didn't feel like I was like maxed out on anything else that I could do.
Yeah.
To portray to you, nothing was really personal. It was just like, I can't even put myself together to let you know that it's not you. So that's like early on in motherhood.
That postpartum thing's real for a lot of moms though. Like a lot of moms.
Yeah.
I don't know the numbers on it, but it feels like it's like more than half.
And it's hard to recognize too. I think other people, it's true. Other people can recognize it in you before you recognize it, because I didn't recognize it with Corey until I was saying things out loud to friends. And then I thought, if a friend was saying this to me, I would tell them to go get help, you know?
Yeah.
And once I said it out loud, I was like, oh, that's probably not good that that's what I'm thinking or feeling or whatever. So just, I don't know, knowing that.
Yeah. I think, and someone commented on one of my TikToks when I did like the tip for new dad thing or something. And someone commented like this like whole thread started on my TikTok. It was about the car seat clips. It was about like, get the car seat with the clips, not the hooks. Like if you know, you know, right? And like this whole thread started in my comment section about postpartum. And they're like, the greatest tip you could give a dad is how to notice postpartum in their wife. And I'm like, that's completely unrelated, but actually like, very good advice. Like, why'd you have to get that deep on a funny video? But like, I'm like,
have a good laugh.
That's right. Like, I'm trying to laugh, like, and enjoy myself. And like, you're getting like real serious and like true though.
Right.
You know, like that's a very real thing that, you know, we need to be able to recognize that. Because I took a lot of it personally at first. Like I felt like I was doing something wrong.
And I can see why, you know.
But then it's like, I remember we had a conversation about it. And then all of a sudden, like, it all made sense to me when I realized what was going on. Like, I just didn't recognize it right away. Because I was just taking it personally. And so, like, if I could have stepped out of it sooner and looked in on it, I might have noticed what was going on a little bit sooner than that. But in the moment, like, I was just getting offended by things instead of looking at the bigger picture of what was going on. And so I think that's really good.
This girl.
Like, what did I do this time? Like, I got up with the baby and changed the stuff. Like, why am I in trouble? No, I think that's good advice, though. I think that's something that more guys could pay attention to. And if we know to have an eye out for that, it could just save a lot of really hard conversations and then get the help that's needed. There's no shame in getting help, but it just, the sooner you get it, the better off.
Yeah.
Because the less time you have to live with it yourself.
And you were supportive. And that's not everybody's story, but that was my experience.
Yeah. Good. So this is kind of a hot topic right now. And you and I talk about this all the time, and like we're very aligned on this of like priority in our house, like our marriage comes first, and then the kids are after that. Like, and we always say that we will put each other in front of our kids. That's a hot topic right now. And there's a lot of division between people, and I feel like I might be wrong on this. I was trying to find statistics on it, and I couldn't. I feel like the majority of guys say, like, yeah, my marriage comes first. Whereas it's like this maternal instinct that says, my kids come first, and then my husband. And it's like, I can kind of understand, like, I'm an adult, I can take care of myself. Whereas, like, the kids have real needs, especially when they're the age of ours, like 3 and 1. Like, they can't even...
Constant
need. Like, and what if I told you, like, the last, like, what's like the last 4 nights, what have I told you? I just want to not be needed for a little bit. Like, I just want to not be needed. Like, that's all I want right now is to not be needed for a little.
I mean, my solution is, like, go hide in the bedroom, you know?
Right. But Jace busted, like, I went in there today.
Jace knows how to open the door.
Right after lunch, I went in there today, laid down. I was laying down for, like, 3 minutes, and he busted in there, like, Dada, come play with me.
When he ran to the bedroom, and then he slowly walks back, and he goes... Dada needs a couple of minutes to rest his eyes.
And an hour later, I woke up.
Yeah. But it was you never nap, so I never dare wake you.
If I nap, I need it. If I nap, I need it.
Do I dare wake you, or do I dare not wake you?
I don't know.
Like, he really needs it, but then he might not sleep until 4 a.m.
That's the danger. If I nap, even if it's for like 15 minutes, I'm probably up till like 2 or 3. So we'll see how late I'm up.
Yeah.
Like, it's almost 9 o'clock, which is like getting close to bedtime for us. And I'm like wide awake right now.
You just kind of wing it.
We just kind of make it up as we go. But
tomorrow's your day.
Tomorrow's Father's Day, though. for us. So, we getting some wings, and I'm hopefully playing some Xbox, and I should get a workout in too. Anyways, all right, back to what we were talking about.
Okay.
You and I, we've been very aligned on like our marriage comes first. I've talked about that a lot on this podcast. If people have listened, they know my viewpoint on that. What value do you as a wife see in that? Like, why have you agreed to that?
That our marriage comes first.
Yeah, because I mean, I think I think more men will say like, yeah, our marriage comes first. I think more women will say my kids come first. Like, what value do you see in putting the marriage first and then the kids in that? And it doesn't mean the kids aren't important. Like, we know the kids are important. Right. And when they're awake, it feels like they're first, right? Like, because they're so demanding, especially because there's two of them. But what value do you see? Like, why is that important for you too? Because it's not just like I said it, so you went along with it. It's like, it's important to you too.
Yeah. I think kids just feel safer when mom and dad are on the same page. And if you don't spend time together or prioritize your relationship, then it's just rockier. I mean, and they can pick up on that and sense it. And so, there's so many, like, I almost wish I could be a fly on the wall because there's been few moments or few pictures where I've just caught a glimpse of, like, Jace just watching us. And, I just think back to, like, I don't know, I have this thought maybe, like, once every couple months of, like, I think back to our fall pictures of, like, we're just standing there and we're kissing. Like, we didn't have to tell the boys to look at us. Like, you usually have to be like, look at the camera, smile. But it's like, all we had to do was kiss. And then they were both like, they're just like drawn to it. And I think there's so many moments that we probably don't see of like when we're having a moment that they're just like, I don't know. And I just think back to when I was a kid, whenever we would all be in the van, it'd be the end of the day. I was exhausted. What helped me drift to sleep was just hearing my parents. Like, I could never hear what they were saying or understand. I could just hear their voices mumbling. They could have been talking about anything, finances. They were never like, it wasn't even like they were giggling and laughing. It was just like
they were just
them talking. Yeah. And it was probably just like, oh, we need to start thinking about this, or we need to add this to the budget or whatever. I don't know. But that is what made me feel so safe. I remember that as a kid. And then I was like, I was just like, I didn't have a care in the world. I knew I was taken care of. And then I would just fall asleep in the van on the way home, Yeah. And so, like, that's what I want to give to Jason Corey. And like you said, I think it's in the moment, I have a hard time when I really think about it because I'm like, I feel like you're forced to tend to their physical needs throughout the day. And then I'm like, I know we're good. But like, you still have to say, like, it's not like you say, I love you. And then you're like, I'll let you know if anything changes, So, just like trying to like touch base, I guess, of like, we are grown adults and we can take care of each other, but creating space and experiences to have fun and bond is important.
Yeah. But I think too, like, as we go throughout the day, even just being on the same page.
Right.
With things. Like, if one of us says something, even if the other one disagrees, it's like, no. Like, Mama already said you can't have a popsicle. Like, in my head, I'm like, I don't really care if he has another popsicle. But you already said no. And so it's like, we're not going over that.
Right.
And so it's like, that line is more important than me being the fun parent. Right? Because it's like, if I'm like, oh yeah, there's no harm in it's a popsicle. It's like there's 4 grams of sugar in it. It's not that much. Like, and so, but what it does is it divides us. If you said no popsicle and I said yes, you can have a popsicle, that divides us then. And so I think like putting the marriage first is even throughout the day, even if it's like, hey, we're not spending that time together. It's like, that means being a united front on all aspects of everything. And so it's like, you know, if Jace comes and asks if he can have something, and I say like, what did you ask Mama? And he'll either like stop because he's like, well, I already asked her, she said no. And then he'll go off and play with his cars, like, because it's like he knows already that, or else if I see him run to ask you, I know he either asked you and you said ask Dad, or he already asked you and you said yes, and so now he's coming to tell you that I said that. And so it's like he knows he's getting it now, you know. And so, but it's so funny because it's like you can see it, like he knows he's not going to get us to go against each other, you know. And I think that's a really powerful part of it, of him growing up, of both boys growing up, and being able to see like, you know, Mom and Dad are a team, and like we're not coming in between that. And so it's like, you know, as we go throughout the day, I know that like, hey, in the evenings, like we're getting our time together, you know. And it doesn't mean like, hey, as soon as the kids go to bed, we spend every second of every minute holding hands from they go to bed till we go to bed. But it's like, you know, sometimes I might watch a basketball game, you might go to small group, whatever it is, but it's like, hey, we know we're getting that time together. But it's also throughout the day, it's like, hey, finding ways to communicate and flirt and kissing when we can and stuff like that. Like, I think that kind of stuff builds the bond, but especially like that being the united front of saying like, nope, Mom already said no, so no. Like, that's, so I say no, you know.
I think we've always been good at being a team even before kids. And like, we didn't want to lose that. Yeah.
That's who we are though, is like we're a team, you know. And I think, you know, carrying that through parenting just makes it a little bit easier. You know, it doesn't make it easy. Like, it's still hard. Like, parenting is hard. Parenting two toddlers, like, I don't know. We haven't discussed, we haven't solidified when a baby becomes a toddler. But like parenting two that are in that age bracket is, it's not easy. But it'd be so much harder if we weren't a team.
Right.
You know?
We know how hard parenting is, and we know how hard it is to not be on the same page, so we try not to combine those as much as possible.
Like, right, let's continue. Let's continue being a team. So, all right. But on that, like, things change when kids enter the picture, right? So how have you viewed the dynamics of our marriage changing once kids entered the picture? Like, because some stuff changed, you know? Like, what was that like for you?
I guess it's never been truer of every yes, there's a no. And it's like, you really have to measure out. I think I don't know. I've always been told I'm a very happy-go-lucky person. And then adding kids and stress and postpartum stuff, I know that part of me disappeared for a good amount of time. And I didn't know how to get it back. And I know just how the dynamics of our relationship changed of... Sometimes I didn't know how to show, or I felt either I knew I wasn't showing how thankful I was for you and how much I appreciated you, and I just didn't have the energy to muster up to say it or show it, or I didn't realize that I wasn't showing it, or like that I was just coming off in the opposite way, probably. And working through that, because then, I don't know, just, I get why people say, like, you're married to a different person now than who you married with, like, the day you got married. Just because you both grow and change in different ways. And,
you were 22 when we got married. So.
I was 19 when I met you. So, I guess that's how I see it the most in our dynamics is... feeling I have wife guilt for that in addition to mom guilt for other things. So I feel bad about that, but you know, just try to do your best each day. And yeah.
But at the same time, like, I feel like...
Thank you for a therapy session.
I feel like at this point in time right now, like I feel like we're better than we've ever been.
Yeah, I think we're past that, but like moving through it, I never thought I was going to be like that. I never saw myself being that kind of person. And so now it's like I really count the cost, I feel like, of like that. I don't know. It's like all I want to do is spend as much time with my family as I can during this stage, especially this one, because you just feel like you're pulled in so many different directions. And I don't know what that will feel like later in life. I'm sure it would just be different. Same thing, different circumstances, but on a positive note too, like there's positive things about our dynamics changing. I guess I just tend to jump to the deep stuff. I think it's like we got our Team G back in just like a different way, and like it's so fun to just like all be a crew. You're the leader of the pack. I don't know, just like not only having fun, just me and you, but it's like it's so fun to see you play with the boys and like really, and like I don't know, I'm just proud that you're their dad, and I'm just thankful.
Well, it is fun. It's like, and it changes the dynamics because I'm with them all the time. But it's like, it's so different when mama's home, too. You know? And it's like when we take a bike ride, it's different when you're there on the bike tagging along with us, you know, instead of just me pulling the boys. You know, it's like they feel the difference. I feel the difference. It's like we all feel that different dynamic of like, yeah, instead of just the two of us, it's the four of us now. Yeah, but it's like Team G just doubled in size, you know? Like, they're still physically really small, but like, verbally, they're very loud. They're very loud.
Corey might outmatch Jason decibels.
Dude, like, this kid is just nonstop. Like, I've complained to you, I'm like, dude, his, like, default language is just whining right now. Like, it's just like, whatever happens, like doing some Cheerios. Like, is that a yes? No? Like, I'm not really sure what that means right now. You know, I'm happy he's starting to learn some words, so maybe he can start communicating with us, but
now he thinks they're words, but they're not, and he doesn't know why you don't understand what he's saying.
He just sits and points to the whole kitchen because he wants one object in the kitchen, and you're like, dude, I don't...
He wanted the blue passy clip, not the green one.
He's starting to get picky over colors now, too. Like,
I think
he thought we had more time.
I know. I think he takes great pride in his volume. Like, he just loves being obnoxious.
It's that second child syndrome right there, man. Oh my goodness. Because Jason's just so chill. Like, Jace is such a chill kid. And Corey is just, we call him the party baby. Because he just like, you know, Jace, he was raised in COVID. And so like, he's all shy all the time. He was like 6 months old before he realized other humans existed in the world outside of the three of us. Whereas Corey's just always been like ready to party, you know. It's like he hasn't met someone he can't be friends with, right?
He's like,
he'll high five everyone at church, and you know, like all that. But
I just met you, but have you seen my water bottle? It's a cool one.
Took him to the playground. He's showing everyone his little water bottle. He's just carrying it around, just showing it up. I'm like,
and he'll wait.
Right,
he will wait for you to give him a reaction.
Oh yeah, he needs you to respond to it. He needs you to respond to like how cool his water bottle is. Meanwhile, if you ask Jace like, "Hey, is that your water bottle?" He'll, you know, cower and hide behind me. Like,
Corey will strut his stuff up to a stranger and wait for them to tell them how cute he is.
And then he'll hand it to you, let you check it out, and then, you know, wait for you to give it back. Like,
yeah.
Dude, we need to teach stranger danger to him because this is the world we live in. So, that's all the questions I have. What notes did you have?
Well...
You pulled it away from me. What do you eat?
Well, one little nugget that I've learned is how much you really have to build margin. Because I feel it a lot more now. when I don't.
Yeah.
And so
it was easier to get margin before kids.
It was easier, and you felt it, I guess, maybe not less, but differently. Like, yeah. And then I've learned that when I'm feeling overwhelmed or stressed, I sing a lot. Like, I sing what we're doing just so I don't lose my cool. And I noticed that when Jay started singing things, and I'm like,
everything now.
He sings a lot, but he's singing what I sing, which means that I sing a lot. And I'm like, I think that's a coping strategy. I just sing if I don't want to lose it.
Thank you for that. Because now, like, a whole way home, he'll be like, pass the dump truck, pass the dump truck, pass the dump truck, we pass the dump truck. It's like, dude, he will sing that for the full 30-minute car ride home from your parents' house. I'm just like...
But isn't that way happier than screaming?
Yes. But the other one's screaming at the same time. So that's when it's like the chaos starts. Yeah. But, yeah. What else have you learned?
This is such a hot topic now, too. I never know how I'm supposed to respond. I feel like I want to just be like, I don't know if passive aggressive is the right word, but when like people, I know they mean it well, but when people are like, enjoy every moment, enjoy every minute, just wait till they're 16 and they don't want anything to do with you anymore. Yeah. And then it just like instills this, I think I took it so literally that I'm just like, am I enjoying this enough? Am I enjoying it? I'm not enjoying it. Now this is a waste of a day. Like, and I'm already a quality time person. So it made me extra, like, I just felt like I was gripping every second so tight that I was like losing it. And so coming to a healthy, this is like therapy. It's good for us. It's like healthy.
You need to come on more often.
I don't know about that. But, I don't know, just a healthy relationship of like, yes, time has never felt like it's been going faster than now. Yeah. And I know people mean it well of just like really taking these moments. But sometimes I feel like they don't. Sometimes I think it's their way of like, I don't know, just like we got when we were married. Just wait till the honeymoon phase is over. Just wait till your kids don't love you anymore and want nothing to do with you. And, anyways, I don't really know what to do with that, but it kind of like...
I feel like it's something people say when they don't know what else to say.
I think so, too. I think sometimes it's a filler.
They think it means well, and they think it... And it's like, yeah, there's a certain truth to it.
There is.
Right? Like, because there's aspects of this phase that I will miss. Mm-hmm. Right? Like, I'll miss the snuggles. I'll miss to a degree... them wanting me to do every single thing with them, because like our kids want us to play with them every minute of the day. Mm-hmm. But at the same time, I'm like, bro, I can only drive a train around a track so many minutes before I'm bored out of my mind. Mm-hmm. And I love my son. I love my kids to death. But at the same time, like, sometimes playing with them is really boring. Like, right. When you are literally doing it 12, 13, 14 hours a day, all day, every day. Yeah. You know, it's like, there's only so many times I can read this Diddy Bird book to my 1-year-old as he, like, keeps flipping the pages every which way. Like, you know, so it's like, are there aspects of this phase that I will miss? Absolutely. Will I miss this one as a whole? Yeah. To be determined. I'm not going to miss changing diapers. I'm not going to miss the whining.
I'm not going to miss potty training.
I'm not going to miss potty training. I'm not going to miss the meltdowns. Mm-hmm. I'm not going to miss packing up half our house when we go to my parents for a weekend. Mm-hmm. Like, there's a lot of aspects I'm not going to miss about this. Like, I'll just be completely honest. I feel like we could do I feel like you could start a whole other podcast on stuff people say to married couples or parents, to new parents or newly married couples, that isn't actually helpful. Right. That they think it's helpful. It's like the whole, like, never go to bed angry with each other. It's like, shut up. Like, or maybe you need to cool off. Right. And sleeping is a way to do that. Mm-hmm. And otherwise you're going to be up till 4 a.m. hashing it out. You know, it's like you get some rest, wake up the next day, and you realize, like, hey, what we were fighting over really wasn't that big a deal.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like,
Yeah.
I feel like you could start a whole podcast series just on stop saying stupid stuff
Right.
to new parents and newly married people.
And I don't think it's stupid. And I do think the majority of people who say it really do mean it well.
I think they do. Yeah.
I do. I do believe that. But I just have a hard time of like, I don't know, maybe it's just my perception that's the problem. I don't know. But it makes me feel like there's no give and take of like, take the moments when you can, or like there's some really special moments. And there's going to be, I guess, there's so many people, maybe the word, what I should have I don't know what I mean. But with that, a lot of it is like they're always like, you only have this much time. You only have this much time. I think that's what I have the hard problem. Like, you only have 18 summers. You can only do this much. And like, if you miss it, well, you've missed it. And the rest of your lives are like, that's the message it gives off. And it's like, I just saw for the first time, I've seen videos like that like 100 times. And then for the first time, I saw something that says like, be mindful of these videos who say this and this and this, because you could be planting seeds. So if you do it well, not perfectly, you have a whole lifetime of a love story with your kids.
Yeah.
And it doesn't end.
You don't just have 18 summers with them.
Right. And if you're lucky, like, maybe you'll have grandkids and maybe you'll stay close to each other. And even if not, like, you'll still have good memories around the Thanksgiving table, or, you know,
Yeah.
and just like, it's okay if you don't nail it right now, because like, you're stressed, you're overwhelmed, you really don't know what you're doing. You're entering a new phase of parenthood, and then a new kid with a different personality. And then just another video of a mom who told her daughter, like, every single age you've been has been my new favorite. You know, it's not like you're never going to get that back and then it's just gone. And then it's like, well, this is a mediocre 7-year-old compared to the fantastic 4-year-old you were, you know?
Yeah.
So I guess just seeing more of that in like balance.
And there's definitely aspects of like 2-year-old Jace that I miss. But like 3-year-old Jace has been so much fun.
Yeah.
3-year-old Jace has been a blast, because it's like he's just so different than 2-year-old Jace. It's like he's learning more, he's growing, he can start doing different things. Like just watching him at a playground, it's like he's climbing all over the thing. You know, like it's like the best climber in the world. Like, this kid is
second guessing him.
has no fear, but he's so careful at the same time, you know? And it's like, man, 2-year-old Jace was scared to go up some ladder. You know what I mean? And so, like, watch it, like, yeah, there's aspects of, you know, I see pictures of curly-haired 2-year-old Jace, and I'm like, where'd those girls go? Like, you know? But at the same time, like, I love 3-year-old Jace so much, you know?
He like
I
blows
miss
2-year-olds
chill
aside.
baby Corey a little bit when he's whining like a madman. You know, and I think, yeah, like, when people say stuff like that, like, they mean well, but it doesn't always help, you know? And I think, like, for me, viewing it more as a, like, hey, enjoy the moments because they just keep getting sweeter.
Right.
And I think, like, when you enjoy this moment, it lets you enjoy the next one too. You know, whereas if you're just like, if you're so stressed about this moment of like, oh, am I enjoying it enough? Like, you're just going to continue that path of like worrying about it. Whereas, like, hey, if you can enjoy this moment for what it's worth, then you can enjoy the next one too. And you can continue enjoying them. And I think, like, our generation, like, I feel like the millennial generation of parents is the first generation that has, as a majority, had this issue of sticking a phone in our kids' face to get pictures and videos all the time. And we're both guilty of it, right? But, like, we're also both trying to be mindful of it. Of it's like, hey, this is a really cute moment of my kid doing this thing for the first time. I want to capture it on camera. But, like, I don't want him to remember this
Yeah.
his whole childhood, you know?
But at the same time, he loves, just like at the end of the day, he loves seeing what pictures you took of him. And so it's like, well, I need something to show him.
Right. Yeah, they do. They love, and Corey's starting to love that too now. Like, loves looking through pictures. And even like Nana, they went to the
the Ark Museum.
Mm-hmm.
And Friday, like, Nana was showing them all the pictures of all the different animals that they saw, you know? It's like they love looking through that. But I think, like, yeah, get the pictures, get the camera. What was, like, the memes that are going around? Like, my parents have 12 pictures of me from the year 1995.
Mm-hmm.
I have 600 pictures from 8 to 8:01 this morning.
Right.
Like, you know, we have so much, but it's like we have it accessible to us, high definition pictures.
Yeah.
But at the same time, like, hey, create that balance of like, yeah, get the good pictures, get the good videos of your kids doing stuff, but enjoy, be present in that moment, enjoy that moment, and you can continue enjoying the other moments as they keep coming.
Mm-hmm. That's all I've got.
That's all you got. I'm trying to think.
What about you? What have you learned that you would like to share?
I think it's how to view time.
Mm-hmm.
I think my perspective of time has shifted. Into time truly being our greatest asset that we have. Because you can't, to a degree, you could buy more of it. You know, but like really, like we all get 24 hours, and not everyone's 24 hours is created the same, right? Like someone that needs to take a bus 2 hours to work does not have the same 24 hours as someone that has a private jet, you know, that can fly them anywhere in the world. You know, but at the same time, it's like, hey, we all do have 24 hours. And so how are you maximizing those? And I think like my perspective of time has shifted, and even just viewing like different seasons of time. Whereas like pre-kids, it always just used to be like, oh, this is just a busy season of work, I got to get through this. Oh, this is just a hard season of life, I got to get through this. Whereas now, like I'm looking at, you know, seasons as chunks of time in my kid's life. You know, like we were just talking about, like we were, before we moved into this house, which we're renting still, but like we lived in a apartment complex. We rented an apartment in a complex for 18 months. And like I view that 18 months as a season where it was just one kid. And just like, we just had a blast there. Like enjoyed the amenities, the pool, the basketball court, like the lawn maintenance that I did not have to do. You know, like, but that was just a season. And I view that as a season from a positive perspective. Whereas like I viewed seasons of work in the past as like, this was a really hard season of work. Now it's like, I view it more as like, hey, this is a season. I'm not going to get this season back. So I'm going to enjoy this season. Right? Like Jace is starting preschool in the fall. And so to me, I'm like, we're about to end a season here in August of like the preschool years, and like we're about to start a new season in September that's like preschool Jace, you know. And it's like that's gonna be a whole different ball game in September. So like right now I've been able to like kind of step back and view time differently a little bit more than I could before we had kids, because I can view like, hey, this summer is the end of a season, like figuratively speaking. With the literal end of summer is the end of a season of the Giannotti family where we didn't have any kids in school, you know, and so we weren't held down to any sort of school calendar or schedule or anything like that. And it's like he's going 2 days a week, right? Like he's not full time.
He's still gonna have a backpack,
but it's still like you're obsessed with the backpack. But it's still like that's the start of a new season, you know. And like before, I couldn't see it like that. Like I could see like, oh, we're gonna be starting this thing at work next school year. But it's like I didn't view that as like this season to look forward to, and this season I'm currently in to enjoy and soak up every moment of, because of I just didn't have that perspective. Yeah. And so I think like just the way that I view time is so different now.
I've noticed, and just you've talked about it too, of how you've always been like a very good goal setter, and you want something with like measurable goals and outcomes, and you can't do that with parenting.
No.
So do you have any thoughts on what you've learned of just switching your brain from going to like um a vocation in the workplace to being a stay-at-home dad? A dad in general, but especially a stay-at-home dad who like that was a complete and total switch, and I feel like you've had to rewire your brain doing that, and I think you've done a good job of it, but
there was definitely rewiring, because I am so goal-oriented and task-oriented, that like being home with them, I have to shift, like there's certain tasks that have to get done, right? Like I cook, I clean, I do laundry, all that stuff. But it's like, oh, you're welcome. Ultimately, like making sure the kids are loved and cared for is like the number one most important thing. And so it's like, it's hard for me to see the kitchen a wreck and to let it be a wreck and go play with the kids. Like that's really, really hard for me. That's such a challenge for me, because like the clutter clutters my mind. Like physical clutter clutters my mind. But I think like I still, in order to answer your question, like I still have to have goals. I still have to have tasks that I do and focus on, right? Like, you know, like I do 100,000 push-ups a year. I'm on the 3rd year of doing that, right? And so, yeah, I'm like 3,000 behind right now, which is just like so many. So many. Now, granted, it's like I've done 42,000 or something like that at this point in the year, but like I should be at like 45.
I've done.
Right. But like, all right, 3,000 is so many in the grand scheme of things. You're like, oh, 42 to 45, that's not that much. But 3,000 push-ups in addition to the 300 a day I have to do, right? And so, you know, like, but I'm so task-oriented that it's like I need something like that. Like I have to have something like that, a goal that I'm striving for. But I think with the kids, it's like I can't have goals like that.
You can't send out a survey at the end
I
of the day.
can't be like, all right, I need Jace to be able to do 50 push-ups by his 4th birthday. Like, I can't do that. I can't have like, hey, Jace needs to be able to do long division by the time he starts kindergarten. Like, I can't do that. So I think like keeping the end in mind of like, you know, the idea of like, we're not raising boys, we're raising men. And like thinking about 20 years from now, 30 years from now, like what type of men do I want Jason Corey to be? And viewing how like the little things that I do are impacting that. And like keeping that in mind of like everything that we're doing on a day-to-day basis is impacting that. And so like the grand sum of a day, like the grand total of a day, you know, because it's like I know I'm not going to get every single thing perfect in a day. But was the day a win? You know, as a whole. And not everyone is. I think most are. Not every single one is. You know, there's certain days where I'm like, nope, stunk it up today. like today was awful. That's all there is to it. You know, but I think like, hey, at the end of the week, do we have more wins than losses? And are we doing things each day to help form the men that they're going to become? And I think like that's the perspective that I take in parenting them, because now I can't set these different kinds of goals, because ultimately it's like they are their own person, you know, and it's like, and they're going to grow and develop at their own rate. And it's like, yeah, we can teach them and instruct them and guide them, but you know, it's like I didn't teach Jace how to climb every single playground structure known to man. Like he loves doing that, and so he's picking up doing that. You didn't go out with the goal of teaching him to sing every action that he does throughout the day.
Here we are.
But here we are. Like, I get to listen to songs all day long. You know, like they're going to find their things that they love. And so it's like, would I love for them to grow up and be great basketball players one day? I would love that. But I care more about the character inside of them and the integrity that they have more than I do about the skill set or the field that they're in, you know? And so it's like, no, I don't have a goal for my kid to get in the NBA one day. If he does, sweet, as long as he loves it. Like, I don't want him to go and play basketball and make the NBA because he wants to make a lot of money or because he wants to make me happy. Like, I want him to be happy in what he's doing. I want him to have a positive influence in whatever he's doing. And you can have a positive influence in whatever you choose to do, you know? But I think, like, hey, what you and I have the ability to impact and influence is their character, is who they are, you know? And that's, to me, like, parenting with that end goal of that is the biggest thing for me.
Do I need to talk louder for the people in the back?